Namaskara once again, Suswagatam. Thank you very much for being here. Minister, it's great to have you here. Bengaluru, Karnataka, right from my earliest days in my childhood or even as a student when I've had the occasion of having come here, has always been known as a hub for innovation, for technology, not just because of IT, but also because of certain magnificent institutions that have been here for decades now. And while the term for Bengaluru of Silicon Valley that is used, I don't agree with it. I think Bengaluru in itself is a global term now. We should not use any other reference for it. Competition is heating up, Minister. Most recently, Visakhapatnam has come to the front. There is a massive data center, AI-related investment that has gone in there. So I want to begin by asking you to tell us, is this competition good? Is this what a federal structure is all about? And how do you see it? And what are you doing after this development?
Firstly, thank you for having me over. And we love competition. And we thrive on it. And it's just not now. It's happening for over decades. I mean, a couple of decades back, didn't everybody say that Hyderabad is going to catch up with Bengaluru? Let's speak only on data points. Not rhetoric, not headlines. I make headlines for the wrong reasons. Let's speak on data. My IT exports last year were 4.5 lakh crores. The closest that came to Karnataka ecosystem was Telangana, close to around 2.2 lakh crores. Out of 110 unicorns, more than 47 unicorns are from my state of Karnataka. More than half the startups in India who are leveraging deep tech are from Karnataka. 40% of engineering, research and development skill sets are from Karnataka. 38% semicon design is from Karnataka. Second highest penetration of AI skill sets, Karnataka. Fifth, we capture the fifth spot globally as AICTs, Bengaluru. Number 8 in startup ecosystem. 21% of the national bioeconomy contributed by Karnataka. By the way, number 1 in biotech. Aerospace, defense, manufacturing, 65% share. Now I can go on giving you statistics in probably every area. And you will still ask me, am I afraid of competition? No, we are not. We thrive in it. It also keeps us ahead of the curve. Now, when we got in when we first got in the IT policy, they said, IT policy se kya hoga kya? We were the first one to have the IT policy, BT policy, the startup policy, the electronic vehicles and manufacturing policy, engineering and research and development policy. We were the first one to have the battery energy storage policy. We were the first one to come up with a draft space tech policy. We were the first ones to come up with the global capability centers policy. So we have always had the first movers advantage where other people have followed us. In fact, some states have borrowed from us so much they've forgotten to delete the name Karnataka from their bills. So, and it's good. Competition is good. There is no doubt in it. And India, by default, is a fiercely competitive country. So while we have a Invest Karnataka, they have a Invest Maharashtra, they have a Invest Andhra, they have a Invest Tamil Nadu, now there is Invest Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Invest Northeast. And it's good for the end investor because everybody likes to do window shopping. In fact, whenever I meet an investor, you know how the meetings start. They first come and sit and say, "Hello, Mr. Minister, how are you?" And I say, "I'm fine." And he said, "I'm just coming from Telangana. I'm just coming from Maharashtra." अभी यूपी चीफ मिनिस्टर का फोन आया था. So, already putting us on the back foot, saying like, look, I've got a lot of incentives out there. I got a lot of subsidies out there. But one thing that nobody can give you, like you rightly said, from being the pensioners' paradise, now we are one of the most disruptive cities in the world. The ecosystem of academia, the ecosystem of incubation, the ecosystem of innovation, the ecosystem of talent, the ecosystem of policy, the triple helix model that you call industry, academia, and government, nobody can give you. This has been built over 3 decades. 3 decades. And it's not easy to replicate it. And it is extremely, extremely, extremely difficult to beat it. So while my neighbors might speak whatever they want, however they want, my data speaks for itself. And of course, in a federal structure, there should be level playing field also.
Absolutely, and there's no denying that Bengaluru and Karnataka have been the heartbeat of India's technology backbone. There's absolutely no question on that. But since you mentioned about models, every model has a shelf life, every model needs to tweak. What is Karnataka and what you as the leader of that particular department and function, what are you doing to sort of adapt and tweak this model in the age of AI? Why I ask you this question is that in the age of AI, what worked for Karnataka and for India in the IT-enabled services environment not necessarily hold true. The kind of infrastructure demands, the kind of power demands. What is the state doing to sort of remain relevant equally in the age of AI?
One thing that we are doing extremely well is we are listening. Okay. And I think it's not easy for us. We are not a flash in the pan. We started out as a hub for public sector units with great backing of academia, think tanks like Indian Institute of Science, C.V. Raman Institute, etc. And we grew into a service sector ecosystem. And it took us from almost 2 decades from IT services or IT-enabled services to morph into an innovation ecosystem. Today we are one of the leading global capabilities center where corporates are not only doing their back office operations or knowledge processing right here, but also are innovating and inventing from here. They're filing IPs, global IPs from Bengaluru offices. And that's the change that has come. It's, like I said, it's very, very difficult to emulate what we have done. And how we have done it is because as a government, we are listening. We are listening to industry trends. We are listening to think tanks. We are listening to institutions. We are listening to what's being reported. We are talking to our partners. All the policies that we come up with are so disruptive is because we consult industry. We consult stakeholders. We consult the people at the bottom of the pyramid. We consult people at the top of the pyramid. And this is what makes Karnataka so good, because we follow the 3P principle. The people, by listening to them, we make policies for the people, and participation. So people, policy, and participation. When I say participation, it is how the government comes out, reaches out. Government also needs to have their skin in the game. That's what people expect. That's what corporates expect. And that is why we are able to reinvent ourselves every now and then, every 5 years, every 6 years. And that is why we have been able to be so disruptive today. If today we are the 4th largest technology cluster in the world, it is because we have policies, we have government participation that is ensuring disruption across sectors. It is just not, when you say AI, we are not just bringing in an AI policy, we are concentrating on sectors, we are concentrating on verticals. I run 27 centers of excellence, right from agri-tech to space tech. And we are seeing how AI will be disrupting each of these sectors. We are learning. And we are adapting quickly.
Minister, but when you say space tech, it's absolutely, in fact, it's a study in contrast. The world standard work happening, Yet if you step outside that office, you might have a corporate leader complaining about the quality of the roads or flooding during monsoons. Do you think this is an issue? I mean, you had certain recent conversations in the public domain in the recent past. I don't want to go into that. But why is it that on one hand you have absolutely world-class stuff, but basic amenities are perhaps not delivered all the time?
See, this is a problem of every growing city. That's what I have told, and I get into trouble very often, but I stick to my stand. I'm quite stubborn that way. But see, what we need to understand is that look at the pace at which we are growing. When the central government says Karnataka is going to grow at 8.3%, we are growing at 10.5%. And I'm going to maintain this 8.5% on an average mean for the next decade or so, till 2035. This is what the reports suggest. And we are having the highest migrant absorption because we are creating jobs. We are having the highest number of real estate purchases happening across sectors. So last year, the office space rentals throughout India was close to around 77 million square feet, out of which 47% was only in Bengaluru. Just this year, in the first 2 quarters, more than 14 million square feet has been sold. Now, like I said, we are creating jobs, we are creating world-class IPs from here. But yes, this is a work that needs a lot of attention, and it needs to be at brisk pace. Otherwise, it will not suffice.
Are you using AI to fix town planning, for example, on a lighter note?
No. Firstly, we are using a lot of common sense to ensure that this thing. And like I said, we are listening, we are talking. But what happens is, now look, last time when we were in government, we said we'll build a flyover, a steel flyover. Everybody said, no steel flyover. They ran a huge social media campaign, hashtag steel flyover beda. I'm sure that a lot of them remember. We said, okay, chalo, log nahi chahte, to kyun karna hai? So we said, this time we said we'll go underground, because land acquisition cost is super high. Now, again they're saying no. Now, upar se nahi jana hai, niche se nahi jana, jana kahan se? At least if somebody should give some solution, right? And there might be collateral damage. I'm not saying no, but that is the price we have to pay. And this problem is there everywhere. Sir, London mein hai, San Francisco mein hai, Brisbane mein hai, Delhi mein hai, Kolkata mein hai, Chennai mein hai. Yeah, I was in a mobility conference the other day. They said, sir, so many cars are coming in. 1.25 crore cars are there in Bengaluru. Just in the previous month, we registered close to around 54,000 vehicles. Now, they have to be on, they are going to be on road. Now, if in London, if you take your vehicle to the central business district, congestion tax. Now, if I say that on the show, saying that I'm mulling over congestion tax, tomorrow corporation haath se chhut jayega. So now, see, until and unless we are able to come to a consensus, Bangalore cannot be fixed easily. It's growing rapidly. Like I was in San Francisco recently, and the problem over there was because of Corona, there was a lot of homeless people that they, as a state policy, they adopted. Now, crime has become such a huge thing that the groceries over there are chained. The groceries are chained in San Francisco. Now, that's supposed to be a world-class city. Now, what should I say? Now, if I compare anything, you do your work is what I will get. So the point is, progress cannot be still water. It has to be a constant thing. And the government is committed. We are building, we are improving 96 kilometers of the metro. We are increasing the suburban railway by 169 kilometers, with close to around 64 odd stations. We are building the double-decker roads of 42 kilometers elevated roads. So these things can't happen overnight. 40,000 crores is what we are trying to, we are spending on the tunnel roads and other amenities. And if this infrastructure needs to come into place, it is going to take time. We are growing at an extremely rapid pace. But My only thing is that when you're suggesting something to the government, let it be practical. Because we have to put everything out in the thing, right? You just criticize, there is no problem. It's going to be a problem. Give constructive criticism. We are here to listen. We are here to deliver. If I don't deliver, I will not win another election. So I will have to deliver.
That's a fair point. And now I'm asking you as a public representative, and you have your own pressures from the public side, that is the other side of the coin. The government and the minister are not a private corporation where there is a limited number of shareholders and they can choose what to do. You're absolutely right. While we have spoken about the AI opportunity, and I also want to get into regulation and governance, which is also a national issue, for the near term, you are seeing headlines of job losses on account of AI and automation. And I know that this is a question that is worrying. In fact, in some multinational corporations that are letting go of people, some amount of chutney is happening in India also. As a public representative and someone who understands both the subject and the substance, is this a fair according to you? Does this worry you?
Oh, see, to be very honest with you, personally, I didn't expect AI adoption at this rate. If you see, I think never in the history of technology, a particular piece of technology has been adopted on so much on this scale. That just imagine, OpenAI declared that there will be no fees for using AI in India for a certain category. I mean, that means the adoption is huge. Somebody was telling me the other day that it's over 57% in India. So that means that everyone is using it, everybody is using it, maybe to cut short their homework, for better research, to cutting down processes in their office, to make decisions. I've never seen a technology being adopted at this pace. While being in my position, I am not allowed to panic. But yes, as a public representative, as a person in charge of this space, I think there is an urgent need for governments to act on what better we could do to train our human resource, to adapt this in a better way, to ensure that the job losses that are happening can be put back in the saddle. While there's a World Economic Forum report that says that 92 million jobs will be lost worldwide, but at the same time 172 million new jobs might be created. Now, what are the jobs? Where are those jobs? The job losses are not happening at the basic level. It's happening at the mid and top level. With CTCs more than 40 lakh, 50 lakhs, which are supposed to be the safe jobs.
Safe jobs.
But if you look at the people who are being let go, are people who have not adopted to this one. So the experience backed with massive reskilling is something that the government is considering to do quickly. And we have been talking to a lot of corporates to understand how AI is affecting their processes, how AI is affecting their businesses, so that we can be ready as a government along with them to help better skill sets, to deliver better skill sets for them. And how each of these things, how AI will be disrupting each of these sectors, whether it's agriculture, cybersecurity, fintech, space tech, anything. So we need to be a little cautious. I'm sure there is no need, there is no point in panicking, but it is something that the central government and the state governments should look into at the earliest.
That's a very important point, and I'll take a follow-up on that. But before that, Minister, I also want to say that just an hour back, at the same place that you are, the head of IBM in India and South Asia gave us an example of how that company globally managed to save close to 44,000 crore, $5 billion on account of AI adoption. And obviously it must have led to reduction in numbers, although their objective was not to cut the workforce, it was to optimize their efficiency. Now, two questions. From your experience currently and in the future, not just for Karnataka, where can state governments, municipalities, our overall governance architecture use AI to improve the life of the common man? If you have an example, please do share it with our audience.
No, as a government, we are trying to see how we can use AI to improve governance also. In fact, in my own department of RDPR, Panchayat Raj and Rural Development, we are using chatbots to address the needs of the people in natural language modules and LLMs, and we are getting feedback from villages on how, on what kind of problems they are facing and how we can deliver better governance in the shortest period. And I heard Kshitij speak earlier also on how they are using data, spatial imagery, or for agriculture. In fact, we are also using AI tools for our disaster management, because after the crop loss, once there is a deluge or there is flooding, we have to pay compensation to the farmers. So there is huge crop loss reported, but when you see the photographs, it looks morphed, but we don't know. So we are using AI tools to figure out if the photographs that are being sent are morphed or not. And even in Manrega, this is very funny. We have men dress up as women to get the images. So we are using tools to detect whether the photographs have been morphed, whether it's actually at site, they're male, female. So we are doing it in our own little way. The e-governance is using AI to detect, to count livestock using muscle printing. So apparently livestock have different patterns on their noses, and the muscle printing technology is being used to count livestock. So we are using it in processes. We are seeing how we can ensure we can cut down the paperwork for citizens and for officials also, to ensure that the delivery of governance and the decision time taking for governance will be lesser. So there are multiple cases. I think right now we are using more than 25 to 30 tools across different departments to figure this out. And to ensure that we don't lose this edge of computing, we are also we are designing a hardware that will be India's most low-cost hardware for computing at the grassroots. That will be a game changer.
Okay, congratulations in advance for that, because anything that is of that nature will be a boon for citizens. Would it be fair and correct for me to say that from the examples that you cited, we can say that AI is helping reduce petty corruption?
Petty corruption, okay. That's a tough thing. But yes, using of technology always reduces corruption. See, as long as there is no human interface, already that corruption is less. And we are number one in e-governance, by the way. In fact, the Rural Development and Panchayat Raj department is probably the only department in the country to extensively use e-governance. So if you want to know what has happened in my village, a panchayat, and you want the proceedings of that village panchayat, you can get it on WhatsApp. You can even, in fact, in the probably in another in a fortnight, we will be launching India's first live telecasted panchayat meetings as well. And you can watch it from anywhere. So anything that, any grievance redressal you have, or any information that you need about a village, you can get it on your phone. Yes, it does act as a great hindrance to the for corruption. In fact, before we have somebody called the Panchayat Development Officers in the Panchayat. So he or she is responsible for collecting taxes and everything to do with the day-to-day activities of the Panchayats. So what they would do earlier is they would, so if you are the PDO, मैं आपका शागिर्द हूँ. So you would never go to the Panchayat. You would tell me to go to the Panchayat. And you would give me your phone, and I would have to do all the running around. So now I've geofenced you. So you only have to go. Even if I go, it will not help.
Recognize.
So now what's happening? Now since you have to go at the stipulated time, we have got your attendance biometric. If you work for 20 days, you get only 20 days salary. If you work for 30 days, you get 30 days salary. And now you are geo-fenced. We know where you are, what you are doing. We are mapping your activity, and that is ensuring better performance of the panchayats. And that has ensured that we deliver better taxes to the people itself. So, for the first time in the history of India, we have collected 1,300 crores from villages only for taxes, through taxes. And I'm going to double it this year. And not 1 rupee comes back to the state government. It goes back to the development of the village. So, if you ask me, it reduces corruption? Yes, it does.
And you've given us great examples. Politicians are considered to be extremely intelligent people. Politics is a very difficult thing to pursue. But I wonder, can artificial intelligence help improve our politics?
I like that. It depends on whether it's the 5th year of the government or 1st year of the government. So, the 5th year, AI will kick in. But, yeah, I think, I'm not sure if many of my colleagues are using AI for, definitely I know that they're not using it for decision making, because we have to be responsible with our decisions, because it's going to affect the population at large. While I can take assistance of it, but definitely there will be rules I'll have to follow, transparency, the cascading or the indirect effect it might have on people or on the schemes. So it's a very difficult thing to do, but I would do it with a lot of caution, because I don't think handing over governance to a technology that is in its nascent stage, it might just be counterproductive, I feel.
No,
that's my personal opinion.
No, that's a very insightful point. As we wind down the conversation, I want to take this to the evolution of the IT sector. You described beautifully how Bengaluru, because of many reasons, has become the hub that it is today. The IT sector, and everybody agrees, grew because the government did not, for years, and I'm not talking about Karnataka, generally did not realize that there was something happening, and it developed on its own. Yet we are seeing another reaction from policy at large. Again, I'm not singling out Bengaluru or Delhi, which is that if crypto comes in, we don't know how to deal with it, we decide to ban it. Gaming, ban kar diya. Now AI, again, the day many other people like you across this country wake up to it, and then they see job losses, somebody will say again ban it. The larger question is, why don't we have a governance framework for AI? The data of hundreds of millions of Indians is being taken away. First, internet companies took it away, then social media companies took it, and now AI is scraping all data of Indians. We don't have a governance framework. Why is it impossible for us to have that?
Nothing is impossible if there is political will. That's my strong personal opinion again.
Sorry to interrupt you. There is will to ban things, but there is
I will explain what happens. And see, first of all, anywhere across the world, it's not limited to India or Karnataka. Anywhere in the world, policies always play catch up to technology. No government has a policy that is technology ready. Whether it is US, whether it's the European Union, whether it is China, or whether it is India. We are always playing catch up. But like you rightly said, the immediate or the knee-jerk reaction that governments across the globe tend to do is, if they don't understand something or if they don't have a framework for it, or if they can't regulate it, they ban it. So if you recollect, London had banned Uber.
Absolutely.
So because they didn't have a policy framework. Here also we had banned Uber and Ola because we didn't have something called the ride sharing, search pricing, aggregation. We didn't have it. In fact, most of the e-commerce platforms that are running currently in India are all illegal because we don't have a policy framework. So that doesn't mean I ban it. So what we should be doing as governments is we need to create regulatory sandboxes. And that's what government of Karnataka has done. We have created something called the Karnataka Innovation Authority, where you have an idea or you have a business or you have a service or you have a product that doesn't fit into our policy, but is not illegal. You can apply for that and you rest in a regulatory framework till we come up with a policy for that. Otherwise what will happen, like I said, we just ban it. Now whether it is crypto or gaming, unfortunately, if it is a state like ours, we would have taken a very, very progressive decision on it. Now, what does the central government say on crypto? They don't say either it is good, nor do they say it's bad. So people are stuck. Now, gaming, it's the same problem. Now, gaming is a vice, so you banned gaming. So when you go to any website.
But sir, in GST, your state also agreed to impose very high taxes.
No. In fact, you have not seen my recommendation at all then. So, like in the gaming part of it, you banned gaming. Now, where are people? The adat to chuti nahi hai kisi ki. People are still going and gaming. What are the first advertisement? No GST, no KYC. The same person from my district or from Bengaluru is now playing on Eastern European servers or Chinese servers or some other servers where we don't know anything. Who's liable? At least if it was here. They want to be regulated. The gaming industry wants to be regulated. But you are not regulating, nor are you allowing us to regulate. The central government is also not doing it, nor are they allowing us to do it. If we are able to do it, then we will regulate them. They also want the same thing. At least we will be able to save their data, like you rightly said. We'll be able to save them their money. We'll be able to at least get them off hook. Otherwise, right now, the number of cyber crimes are increasing, cyber frauds are increasing because people are going and playing on servers that are unknown to us. Where will I go looking for an Eastern European server or a Chinese server? And that is exactly what is happening. So regulation is important, policy framework is important, and governments can do it. It's nothing that they cannot do or we cannot do. It requires focus, it requires consultation, and if it is a state subject, we'll be more than happy to do it, like we are bringing in the misinformation and the fake news bill for online news and other things. This is state subject. Now crypto, gaming, everything is like borderline here and there. So we have to depend on the central government's directions at least for giving a policy framework. But with respect to AI, we are talking to corporates, we are talking to think tanks, we are talking to institutions, we are reading up how policies are done across geographies, and we will ensure that we will be able to come up with a nice proper AI sandbox framework for the rest of the country to follow.
I wish you all the very best in that, because many things that Bengaluru and Karnataka have done have been adopted by the rest of the country. As we wind down this session, I know we could have continued, but time's up. I just want to end by saying that someone said that AI stood for American intelligence. I hope that with the collective efforts of the states and centers across party lines, this is not a political issue. AI actually becomes Atmanirbhar intelligence, Indian intelligence. Priyank Kharge, thank you very much for your time with us.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. May I please request you to be on the stage for a moment while I request Mr. Salman Ahmed, Vice President of Presidency University, Bangalore, to please come up on stage. Also along with him, I'd like to request Mr. Alok Nair, CEO of Business Today, to also walk up to the stage to present a token of appreciation to the Honorable Minister. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Honorable Minister Priyank Kharge, Minister of Information Technology and Biotechnology for Government of Karnataka. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to the next session now. This is the last but one session that we have.